another place. We in the land of our enemies in captivity, but the gathering is safety place. Fire, 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 fire.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Fire in my soul.
So much fire.
Fire, fire, fire.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Fire in my soul.
Shut up in my bones.
Fire, fire, fire. Fire in my soul. The promises to Zion, they put fire in my soul. Ever since I woke up and finding what belongs to me, I want my crown and my robe like the saints of old, my legacy and history. Wait a minute, I thought you was the children of slaves, but you're telling me you're kings and queens. We the chosen of Yah, the apple of his eye, the original royalty. Fire, 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 fire.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Fire in my soul.
So much fire.
Fire, fire, fire.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Fire in my soul.
Shut up in my bones.
Fire, fire, fire. Fire in my soul. The promises to Zion, they put fire in my soul.
Rebirth, fire in my soul, all flames in the members. Ruach, contained in our members. Ruach, you're in my ear, cause it shut up in our bones. Can't sleep so deep like it came in syringes. Why? Cause our king is tremendous. Most high, serial contenders. Hallelujah, Abaya, Yahusha, Yahuda, Yahuda. Get them hands up in the sky.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
So much fire.
Fire, fire, fire.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Fire in my soul.
Shut up in my bones.
Fire, fire, fire. Fire in my soul. The promises to Zion, they put fire in my soul. Fire, fire, fire.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Fire in my soul.
So much fire.
Fire, fire, fire.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Fire in my soul.
Shut up in my bones.
Fire, fire, fire. Fire in my soul. The promises to Zion, they put fire in my soul.
Yeah, get the fire in my bones, yo. Yo, get the fire in the bones, yo. Yo, get the fire in the bones, yo. You don't even know.
Shalom, y'all. Shalom, shalom, shalom. It's your boy Michael Israel. I'm getting everything set up here, so we'll get started here in a second. In the meantime, just continue to enjoy the music. What I'll do, because it looks like the music stopped, and it did, I'll put on the next song.
Praise to the Most High. First of all praises to the Most High. Most cry and wonder why it's all strife. Grew in the hood just to dodge cops. That feeling's all too familiar, like the slave patrol night watch. They say get out, but that's a tight box. We grew up in a sunken place. The brain is tight locked. The deep sleeps in Isaiah. Judah special, we drown sorrows in Harlem Nights and Red Fox. Police brutality's the norm to us. They harm us and misinform with the plan of all the Torah. Well, fam, you gotta read the Torah. Israelites are ancestors, Jerusalem full of posers. What they did to Joseph, look a little closer. Brother turn an enemy and hit you with the poker. Oppressors, they opposers, back of the bus rosa. Distractions in the act of attacks to hide motives, I told you. All praises to the Most High. It's our story, it's our story. Read the book and it won't lie. For his glory, for his glory. Yo, it's a shame. Losing hope to gain normality, cause our reality is the Mortal Kombat fatalities. No principalities and declining of all morality. But in the vanity, there's a prophecy still happening. On the internet, the enemies are cackling. The blind leading the blind right into the reckoning. But ain't no glory in forming weapons against your brethren. Or we gon' come together or perish because of foolishness. Sell drugs, slugs, that's pretty damaging. It helps them, not us, our own worst enemy. Divided in the hood, oppressed, we got no synergy. Work then retire and die, we got no energy. But this is just a sample of dirt. In God's words, we are synonymous. Proverbs and bywords. We should focus on the law and the glory of his word. Cause the teachers and the doctrines of men is absurd. All praises to the Most High. It's our story. It's our story. Yeah. Read the book and it won't lie.
All right, shalom, y'all. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Shalom, it's your boy Michael Israel here. You're watching Spiritual Combat. And as you can see, the title of today's show is Immature Men. I remember I did a video on this topic a while back, maybe a year or a couple years ago, but it went viral. So, I mean, I think that's one of my #1 videos. It got thousands of views, you know, and so apparently this is a widespread issue. And when I say dealing with immature men, it's situations where, you know, the woman has her stuff together, but the man doesn't. Maybe the man's not leading, or maybe the man, you know, he's doing his thing for the most part, but he's kind of defeated. He's not in the truth like you. He might be wrestling with issues like lust and stuff like that. You know, so naturally it creates contention in the marriage. And the big thing about this type of situation is it can put the family at risk depending on what it is. I can say growing up, you know, my father, you know, he was a hard worker, everything like that. He just wasn't on point with the money, so my mother would take care of the money and stuff like that. But anyway, what we're gonna go into here is we're gonna discuss when that type of situation occurs and you're in one of those situations, how do you handle it? How you deal with it? Because what the world tells you, of course, is, you know, they tell you the way to deal with that is fight them. You know, go toe to toe. You know what I'm saying? And you know, you like I said, you see different types of. You see the situation pop up. Hold on one second. You know, let me fix this. There we go. So you see this situation pop up in different ways. Okay. There's different occurrences of the situation. And just hold on, I'm just trying to get this thing sorted out here. All right, there we go. Trying to, okay, there we go. So I did it. All right, cool. So yeah, so like I said, you see this situation pop up, and it can be a tricky situation. And what typically happens is the man's not stepping up. It basically turns, and it just turns into a bunch of fighting, and it could get ugly, because a lot of times, I mean, if the strong man is binded, the enemy can come right into the house. So if that man's not working, for instance, he doesn't have a job, you know, it creates contention, and the family's not being provided for. It puts a huge burden on the woman, where she's carrying a masculine role. it might not. I've heard all types of different scenarios with this situation where the man is immature in some area. Sometimes a man can be lazy. Sometimes the man, he's hardworking. He's straight laced as far as he's not doing drugs or anything like that, but he's struggling with lust. Sometimes the man's hardworking. He's not struggling with lust, but he just doesn't want to lead. Sometimes he's doing all those things and he's leading, but he's not making wise decisions. So what's the biblical way? Because what you're going to find, excuse me, just woke up. What you're going to find is when you deal with situations and relationships the biblical way, it's very efficient. The problem won't go on very long. You know what I'm saying? But I guess you could say the caveat to that or whatever is the flip side to it or whatever is it's not what you're typically used to hearing or doing. And initially it could seem like, kind of burdensome initially. You know what I'm saying? But when you pull your emotions out of it and you look at how to deal with certain relationship issues the biblical way, you find it to be very practical. Okay? So when a man is immature in some area, how should the woman deal with it? Okay? So we're going to read through some verses, because not what I'll say, we're going to see what the word says. Okay? So title. All right. And let me make sure, I just want to make sure I go to the right screen on here. Probably not. Okay, there we go. Yep. All right, so let me pull this up here so everybody can see it. So the first verse that shuts a lot of things down, it says, a silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord, and there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed. So I'm putting that in there to say, I'm not saying, shut up, woman, don't say nothing to him about it. You know what I'm saying? But nagging him because I'm telling you, that's the first line knee-jerk response when dudes is off, is nagging him, okay? And I'm just telling you straight up, that's not, that's not the way. That's not going to work. It says, let me see. All right. And I'm going to find a verse. And if y'all find it, put it in there where it says the woman will win that man by her chaste behavior, or by her humble behavior and her chaste appearance. That's the verse I'm looking for. I got it here. I just have to find it. Okay. But and it's loading up here. But if one of y'all find it, go ahead and post it in there. But for instance, so the man is being irresponsible. Say it's with the bills. Say it's with his leadership or whatever. A lot of times what happens is the man's approached aggressively in a fight manner. And if your man is a real man, if your man's a real lion, he responds to aggression with equal aggression to defend himself. Okay? But what we're going to see with these Bible verses is when your man's off, the way you win him over is by your chaste and humble behavior. Okay? And and how do you do that? Because I'm not going to just leave you with that. But how do you do that in situations like that? that can be the tricky part, right? And not tricky. It requires some self-discipline, but when he's off in an area and it's not mission critical to where it could cause harm to the family, let it fall, let it mess up, and point it out. Be like, look, are you gonna take care of for instance, it's the bills, and he's not being responsible with the bills. Let him take care of it. Like let it mess up. Okay. If it's for instance making bad decisions and as far as the direction that in the direction things should go in the house, planning something out, like the example I gave was a trip, planning a trip out, and it doesn't go in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? Let the trip be a mess. Okay? So and let me give you an example, because I got the verses here too. All right. It says, I think it's 1 Timothy 5:14. I think that's the verse. So let's see. Let's see. Paste and search. Alright. Yep. Alright. So. Nope, it's actually 1 Peter 3:1. So, and I'm pulling it up. It just sometimes this thing pulls up. It never wants to pull up the KJV version, which is what I like to go by. But bear with me. We're going to get all the way into this. So it says, likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word. So if your husband is doing something and he's not walking according to the word, okay, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives. Okay? So what it's saying is, if you want your man to get in order, to walk according to the Most High's word, you can win him over by your humble behavior. But that, a lot of women are so emotional that they think, okay, I gotta act like a man. I gotta yell back at him and all that. And I'm gonna show you where that's off. All through the book. I got a ton of scriptures on that. It says, while they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear. So it says, we're going to go through it and break down each word. It says, likewise, ye wives, be in subjection. And with subjection. Okay? So we'll see what that word. It says that action of subjecting a country or person to one's control, or the fact of subject. Okay? So being in obedience. Okay? And it's tough. It's directly opposite of the programming that our people have. Okay? It's directly against it. So it says that if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives, while they behold your chaste conversation. All right, let's see what that word is real fast. All right, it says, abstaining from extramarital or from all right, here it is. Without unnecessary ornamentation, simple or restrained. That's what. So chase conversation, not blah 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 blah. You gonna do that and all that stuff. Okay, it's that exact opposite of that. But that's what Satan seeks to do. He seeks to turn stuff perfectly upside down. Okay, and so let me show you another script, and that's going to be, all right, one sec. All right, I'm going to put another result, the main. So it says, Ecclesiasticus 26:26. It says, a woman that honoreth her husband shall be judged wise of all. But she that dishonoreth him in her pride shall be counted ungodly of all. There ain't no getting around it. And then it goes on, it says, a loud crying woman and a scold shall be sought out to drive away the enemies. I mean, it got some heavy stuff to say about that. And then, you know, because a lot of women, when the dude's off, they just want to nag him. But like I was saying in that earlier verse, bring it to his attention in a respectful way, and then then pray on it, because you don't see where it says stay on him, and all that stuff. So my wife put, however, the man must have a heart after Yah and also be willing to change. If he's overcome with pride and stubbornness, that won't win him at all. Okay, so she said, however, the man must have a heart after Yah. Exactly. But again, it said in 1 Peter, it said, likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word. So if he doesn't have a heart, if he is prideful, if he's not, say he is overcome by stubbornness, and he doesn't have a heart after Yah's word, it says, that's what it's talking about there. If any obey not the word, they also may without the word. So he's not following Yah. So without the word, be won by the conversation of their wives. Okay, not the nagging of their wives, but just the humble conversation, bringing it to them. And it's tough. It's a tough thing. And praying for restraint and all that. And then on the same note, you know, I've talked to men at my job who, you know, they ran around on their wives and done their wives wrong, but the woman stuck with them, and because they wanted to be with them and all that stuff like that. And then because the wife didn't just completely go crazy and tear and mess everything up, the man felt repentant and guilty and turned around to serve the wife. Matter of fact, I'm trying to remember who that was I was talking to, but he was telling me about how his father was like this is way back in the day, but he was saying he saw when he grew up, he saw his mother just always running over his father, and he couldn't figure out why. But later he found out back in the day, his father used to like do his mother real bad, but she hung in there and kind of won him over, but then it went to the other extreme. But yeah, so That's what I'm saying. It's to do. Look at this. Let me show you what I'm trying to say. The stuff I teach, the stuff the man has to do is hard. It's like overcoming an obstacle of you got to be willing to stand in there and fight and stand for whatever you need to stand for. That's the last thing men want to do. We want to keep the peace. Same thing for the women. The women, a lot of women don't mind arguing and all that stuff, but the Bible's telling them to do the exact opposite of what they've been programmed with. Because we as men have been programmed to just kind of go along, get along, tiptoe through the tulips and not stand up to stuff. But the Bible says you need to be grounded in this thing and dig your feet in and put on the whole armor and stand. Okay, same note. The women, where the Bible tells them, hey, be in subjection, be obedient, don't argue, don't be a loudmouth woman, all that stuff. Well, this society has programmed us the exact opposite. It's the exact opposite. Okay? So, everybody got growth to do. You know what I'm saying? And I'll tell you in a second, I ain't perfect. But it's about putting in that work and not putting in the work for a vain reason. Hey, I'm putting in the work to put in the work. You got to see that. Okay, let me check YouTube real quick. All right. Okay. Yeah, we're good there. So you got to see that doing the benefits of doing this. And it's sometimes just from your experience of dealing with the Bible, dealing with God's word, you have to trust the process because the Most High, he's consistent, it's going to work. You got to trust him. And it comes with experience. It's like I've had experience where I've seen this word to be true and I stick by it, even to the point of ignoring what my emotions are telling me because I know this thing is right, okay? But it's tough. And then for those women who aren't in a relationship, this is why it's so perfect. When this book is telling you, now look, I'm gonna pull these verses up that I was reading earlier. It's telling you, it says, a shamefaced and faithful woman is a double grace, and her continent mind cannot be valued. Okay? And when it says continent mind, the definition of that is exercising or characterized by restraint in relation to the desires or passions, and especially to sexual desires, temperate, showing moderation or restraint. That's the exact opposite of what society programs our women with. But when you see that the Bible's telling you, oh, be submitted in all things unto your husband as unto the Lord, as it says Abraham's wife called him Lord and all that. Like, when you think about that, if you're a single woman, you're looking for a man, that's going to make you really think about who you're choosing to get in a relationship with. Like, you're not just going to jump in a relationship with anybody when you realize, oh, I got to submit to him as unto the Lord. It's like, what? As Abraham's wife did and all that? Now you ain't just jumping in. You're going to be like, okay, you're going to want to know every single aspect. You're going to want to know how this dude think. You want to make sure he lined up perfectly with Jesus. You ain't going to do what this world tells you. The world tells you, oh, just, how do you feel? How your emotions feel, you know? And the world's calling horniness and lust love. So they're like, oh, I feel good. I think I want him. Okay, go with him. Boom, you jump in a relationship and it's World War III out there. You know what I'm saying? It's going to really make you consider. So that's to single women. But now, you're in a relationship now, okay? You're in a relationship now, and you did that. You let your emotions do the choosing, and now you're in World War III. it's still a win-win situation because these relationships purify you like gold. These relationships, some of these relationships are fire. They're fire. And they burn the impurities out of you and make you pure gold. That's what all these damn arguments are. And anytime I get in an argument or disagreement or something like that, I always do a spiritual or mental inventory, audit, a spiritual audit. Like, where was she off? Where was I off? And try to see, because see, in those high pressure situations, you're gonna see where you off at. You're gonna see where, okay, I need to make changes here. As a man, and women have to do that as a woman. And in doing that, it's gonna purify you. And it's like God has taken us as a nation. Like I said, I'm gonna do a show later on this week. God has taken us as a nation. He's trying to get us right because big things are getting ready to pop off and go down. And like I said, I'm doing a show later this week on it. Okay? So, like for y'all that are in these relationships and sister who who wanted me to talk on this, I'm gonna hit on your issue. I'm gonna give more exact information on what you need to do about your situation. But absolutely, that's the way to do it. That's the way you're gonna do it. Pride is what you got to be humble when you come into a relationship. I do a lot of counseling and hear a lot about relationship issues, and never once have I seen one relationship situation where both parties weren't 50% guilty in it. I never seen one where it's 100% this one and you're innocent. They always spin it that way, but it's always what I'm saying, there's always dual responsibility. And this is the thing, man. All right, this is super heavy. This applies to everything I teach. This is the big thing that has to be learned, okay? In any high pressure, emotional, tense situation you're in, you can guarantee that you're involved in something that got you real emotional and turned up and stressed out. That is a time where you're exposed to yourself. Okay? The real you is out there for you to analyze and see. That's the benefit of those moments. Those purifying moments where you're purified gold, where you're purifying the gold and all that. Your impurities are exposed right then. And the tricky part is in those situations, that's where you close off and you don't want to look at. The last thing you want to do is be like, well, where was I off at? You see what I'm saying? Because your pride blocks that out. So that's look it up. That's the weightier matters of the word that the Bible talks about. That's getting the inside of the glass clean. Okay? That's the weightier, heavier part of the word. Okay? So, but let me see, as the sun, when it arises. So just showing you that, because the reason I wasn't pulling those scriptures up to be like a womanizer and all that stuff, but what I want to do, I'm going to read over all these scriptures and show you what the Bible's saying. And I want to make sure that everybody knows, because this is what the word does. It boxes you in to where there's only one thing you could do in situations. And it forces you to see what you have to do, and you realize it's the last thing you want to do. And then that's when you begin to see where Satan is deceiving you, because it forces you into only doing one thing. Okay, so let me show you, because that's why I brought these scripts up, and I'm going to do it in a balanced way. I ain't beating down women today or nothing like that, because I'm going to show you what the man got to do too. So it says, a shameless woman shall be counted as a dog, but she that is shamefaced will fear the Lord. Okay, so what's shamefaced? Okay, we'll put a definition up there. It says feeling or expressing shame or embarrassment. Okay, so it's just like a humble, shamefaced woman. Okay, and it goes on here. A woman that honoreth her husband shall be judged wise of all. Everybody knows what honor is, but she that dishonoreth him in her what? Pride shall be counted ungodly. A loud crying woman and a scold shall be sought out to drive away enemies. It is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and an angry woman. Okay, and the definition of contentious is tending to argue or strife or quarrelsome, causing, involving, or characterized by argument, controversy, all that stuff. Proverbs, it says, it is better to dwell in the corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman. So it's just reiterating. A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knoweth nothing. And clamorous is conspicuously or offensively loud. Okay? The tender and delicate woman among you which would not, and this is just because, and look, I'm gonna balance this out, because if your wife is like this, it don't matter. It's still because of you as a man. It's still your responsibility to get her in order. Like, we're setting her off all the time. So yeah, she in error, but at the end of the day, the responsibility lies with the man, because the man has the power to stabilize and bring that house back in order. But a lot of men are just clueless on how to bring that house back in order, because what? They lack wisdom. And what's wisdom? This word. This word tells you how to do it. So don't, because I know the men is back there. Yeah. See the way you supposed to be, woman? yeah, you supposed to shut up, yeah. and all that stuff. But she going off like that, I guarantee it's something you, a big dummy, there's something you off with. And that's what I do. Like when my wife coming at me and there might be something that she's upset about, and she not that type of woman. She has her moments, but she is a quiet and shamefaced woman. Okay? I can say that. But when there is something that's off, I always consider. I will always look at myself. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm a lion. I mean, I ain't going to be no, yes, dear. Okay, dear type dude. I'm not that type of dude. But I'm righteous and humble, and I will always look at myself. Because I've went through the pain. I'm comfortable with the pain of self-analyzation. It's part of being a soldier and that self-discipline. I'm comfortable with the uncomfortable. A lot of dudes aren't. They yank back from it. But that's why, like I said, I'm coming balanced with what I'm saying. You know, but I want to make sure women know that this behavior is clearly condemned by, like, the Bible. You ain't supposed to be a loudmouth, black, strong-willed woman. You know, doing your neck, like, however, I can't do it, but you know what. All right, and it shows you what's going on, that this is part of the curse. It says, the tender and delicate woman among you, which would not venture to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom. and towards her son, and toward her daughter. Okay? So, and it says an evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro. He that hath hold of her is as though he held a scorpion. So, you know, and like I said, man, this is what I be doing counseling on. Like, dudes got a woman like this because, and the dude, and it could be ugly. It could get ugly. You know? All right, so let's see. Now, this is what I always say. It says, husbands, love your wives. See, the stuff it hit the men with is just heavy. There's no getting around the stuff it put on the men. It says, husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it. So, when your wife, like, how did Christ love the church? And who's the church? The church is Israel, the nation of Israel. And how hard-headed was Israel? Israel went out and cheated on him multiple times. And he finally gave him a bill of divorce, but did him wrong. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. And he was long-suffering, patient. Okay? He wasn't no chump, though, because at one point, he would step up and deal with them, too. See, that's what never gets taught. Is when the woman off, oh, no, you can't correct her. You can't say something mean that might hurt a woman's feelings. You know what I'm saying? No. You, as Christ dealt with the church and willing to die for them. But he stood on what's right. Sometimes Christ would what? Turn his back from them. And just let them go wherever the heck they went. Sometimes he'd come at them with hardcore discipline. You see what I'm saying? So, understand that. But that's a whole nother lesson. Like, I'm getting off. But what I'm saying is, that's a man's role. And I'm not saying it's always to be yelling at the woman and all that. But I get dudes who be like, yeah, I'm done with her. Or she this, she that. It's like, no, you got to be patient. Christ used wisdom. Sometimes he'd be forceful. Sometimes he just back off and let you learn on your own. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, so, you know, everybody know how Christ dealt with Israel. All y'all, especially y'all Hebrews, y'all who are Brews who are watching this, y'all know intrinsically how Christ dealt with the church and dealt with Israel. Okay? So, you know, and it wasn't just one way. But the way, and that's why I'm saying the feminization, the emasculation of this society, it creeps in to the church and into the Hebrew culture to where, oh, well, God is love and he loved the church. Yeah, but look up the biblical definition of love. Sometimes love is discipline. Because love, it says the Most High's commandments are love. What this book says is love. Sometimes you got to deal with your brother or with your sister or with your husband or your wife. Sometimes you got to deal with them in love according to what this book says. And this book says leave them alone. That's a whole nother lesson there too. All right. So let me... Now, it's going to align... Because I was reading some of what it was saying about the wicked women and stuff like that. But like I read earlier, it says Ecclesiasticus 26:14. It says a silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord, and there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed. And then we read 1 Peter 3 verse 1 earlier. It says, likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may be without the word be won by the conversation of the wives. Okay, it's not telling you to all right, and yeah, baby, I'll address that too. Okay, it's not telling you as a woman to not it's not telling you as a woman to not correct your husband and tell him, look, you got to step up to the plate. And getting mad and say, look, come on, are you going to pay this? Are you going to do this? Are you going to get in order? But it's saying, okay, you express that. Now back off. Use wisdom with it. If you're nagging, that means your emotions have overtaken you. And you that other woman that they was talking about. Okay? Okay? That's what that means. It doesn't mean and using wisdom. So, and I don't have to tell y'all women this, because y'all are, I ain't gonna say crafty, but y'all think. Y'all not just straightforward. Y'all think things out. Y'all know how to manipulate a man for the bad. Why don't you manipulate that man into being a man? Build them up into a man. Be like, you know what, baby? I love you, and I want you to be my leader, and I'm going to let you pay that. I'm going to let you be responsible for that. I'm not nagging you about it no more. I know you're a man, and I'm going to let you lead because you're going to be the head here. You know, I didn't like what you did there, and I know you better than that, but I'm not going to yell at you about it. I know you're a wise leader, and I'm going to and encourage him to walk in that leadership role. But what most women do is they emasculate the man. They beat him down and nag him and yell at him. And it's like, dang, he feel like another dude beating him down and like challenging his masculinity. And now, not only is he dealing with it when he goes to work with his boss and in society, with this whole society attacking our men and trying to emasculate him, now he has to deal with it when he comes in his house. But it's good, because that's not an excuse, men. That's not an excuse. I'm being balanced with it. That's not an excuse to give up. You a soldier. You designed to overcome the odds. Okay, you designed to fight for your masculinity, your male confidence as the head and the leader. You know, people want to call it macho-ness or whatever they try to demean it. But a woman's supposed to encourage you to be the man, so you can have some pride about yourself and some confidence about yourself as a man, some boldness. And not pride, but boldness. So that you're not, I don't know if she's going to beat me down on that. You see what I'm saying? All right. And then my wife put in there, she put 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7. She said, husbands, in the same way, treat your wives with consideration as a delicate vessel. Okay, you got it out of a different version. But I'll pull up the King James. It says the same thing. I'm just not used to reading it. Consideration as, I'll pull it up here. And that's a good verse. I'm glad she put that in there. Because I know what she's, all right, 3, 7. All right. It says, likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. So, and I bear with me. I'm going to go in and break it all the way down and go all the way through it. How do you give honor to the woman as the weaker vessel, or as the way the version my wife put in here, treat your wives with consideration as delicate vessels? How do you do that? Okay? So in a situation where, say, the woman is getting emotional and going off and going crazy, like I said, I've talked to brothers that they weren't dealing with the woman according to wisdom, and the woman going off, going crazy, all up in their face, acting ignorant. Pow! It turns into blows. The woman hits them, it turns into blows. In these high pressure situations, in these situations where you're in an argument and you're yelling and all this stuff's going on, and is going crazy, and I'm going to talk about multiple situations on this, but the first one is the most critical one. That's why I'm addressing that first. So in these situations where it's going crazy, emotions are this high, logic is way down here. You know, thinking with common sense and rational thinking, boom, it's all, and both, bam, they going back and forth. How do you deal with her as the weaker vessel? Well, how does this verse tie into that? When emotions are high, you as the man are less prone to being overwhelmed by your emotions. Okay, because a woman, by her nature, is sensitive. She has to be sensitive to the needs of her family. She has to be sensitive to the needs of a baby who can't communicate. Okay? She has to be able to see all the little... A woman needs the ability to have attention to detail to be able to, like my wife, without me telling her, she knows in detail the way I like everything. She watches everything. She knows about stuff I like that I don't even know I like it that way. Because she's observant. Because what? They're sensitive. They're emotional. They're in touch with their emotions and their senses. They feel it more. Why? Because that's the way the Most High designed them for their role. But then on the flip side, where Satan manipulates that, is when you're in an emotional situation, you as a man are designed to be able to control what your emotions do more than a woman can. So in one of those emotionally charged situations, you have to deal with her according to her being a weaker vessel. As sometimes you just, when you see it going there, you might need to leave. You know what I'm saying? As simple as that. You know, when they're getting real disrespectful and you feel them hitting on your boldness as a man and that pride, like sometimes you need to just back off and come to it another day. You know? But to stand in there and then getting your emotions as a man and then go upside her head, or she start hitting you or something like that, it's going to be an ugly situation. Let's go. So let's move that into another situation where I run into a lot of men where the woman is, where the woman's off. Oh, here's a good one that I get all the time. The woman's not in the truth. Okay? And the dude is just looking for exits to get up out of there. The dude's looking for exit strategies. You know? Look, she ain't in the truth. She won't stop eating the pork. She won't put this skirt on and all this stuff. Dude, she off, son. I'm done. And, you know, and he trying to get up out the relationship. And you're not dealing with her as unto the weaker vessel. You're not realizing that, look, Most High was present. The Most High was patient with you in your ignorance for years. So you need to be patient with her. I read that verse earlier where it said, love them like Christ loved the church. He was patient with Israel. He was patient with me in my life. I remember back in the day, I was standing there with my boys scoping out ATMs with guns, getting ready to rob somebody. You know what I'm saying? Winking at our ignorance. And then I watch brothers, oh, she need to put that skirt on and all that stuff, or I'm done with her, you know. And they don't realize that because the woman doesn't see and sense and pick up Christ in you. So on the inside, because she knows, women know who you are instinctually on the inside as a man. They don't care about all that stuff on the outside. You know what I'm saying? They can pick up whether you clean, whether you're a whited sepulcher and whether you clean the inside. Like they pick up on that, whether you're a real man, all that stuff, a real biblical masculine man. They can see that. So I'm telling you, because I done counsel folks in camps and all that stuff like that. And that's what they wrestle with. That's one of the popular ones, trying to wield their woman into this truth and not winning them over to the truth. You know? So it's for men and women alike, relationships are a growth process. A relationship is purifying you as gold. A relationship shows you your impurities, and you can either burn them off or let them just sit there and destroy you. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I say to that. And like I said, it starts with the man. You know, the man's the head. The man got to be willing to calm down, come back, and consider what's going on with that, what's going on with him, everything like that. And the woman does too, though. You know, the relationship is gonna. And let me say this, because I know I'm getting off a little bit, but let me say this. Most people should be in a relationship. There are some who don't need to be in a relationship because God has blessed them with a spiritual gift to where they don't need to be in a relationship. But that's not all these people who are out there masking hurt and saying, oh yeah, God just wants me to be on my own. No, you're hurt and you don't want to face the pain of things that have happened to you in the past, and that's why you don't want to be in a relationship. But then there's another person who never needed to be in a relationship because the Most High has given them a spiritual gift of not needing to be in a relationship. But most of us need to be in one to get purified, to get right. Like I see a lot of folks, there's a dude who was like divorced like 3 times. He's like, yeah, I'm done. I don't need to be in a relationship. But then you look at him, you can see all these issues with him that he need to get right because he caused a lot of whatever he had. So it's like, but a lot of people that go through these pains in relationships and they won't be willing to consider and look back at themselves as being half of the cause in that thing, in the situation that happened. Shalom, brother Erie Ben Yisrael over there on YouTube. Shalom, Jay Lutch. Shalom, Carol. Of course, my wife's in there. Shalom to her. Shalom, Sister Evelyn. Like I said, if y'all got any questions, y'all put them in there. Shalom, Jamelia and Terrence T. Horn. All y'all in there. Charlotte Thornton. Beat Bros in there. Shalom, Sister Shantae. And I got Bob Parks up in there. All right. So, but yeah, so going back to the original situation that there was is this. When the man is not being responsible, you got to use wisdom. You got to use your intuitiveness, your womanly skills, I'll put it like that, to encourage him to become a man. You got to use wisdom in all these situations. And when you couple that with, hey, she's not nagging me, but she's encouraging me to step up. And in doing that, you're going to purify yourself. You're going to get yourself in alignment with the word. You're not going to overwhelm and stress out and drive yourself crazy, And you're going to grow patience and long suffering in yourself, And this is what the book says to do. So apparently he's going to respond to, and it's going to work efficiently. When you just back off, you do what you're supposed to do. Bring him a plate. Look, you messed up there, and I understand that. I understand you didn't see that or whatever, but you a leader, and I'm with you, and I encourage you. Women the society don't want you doing that. They want you if y'all could put that verse in there where it says, an unwise woman tears her house down. That's what society encourages you to do. But a wise woman builds her house up. And this is how you build it up. And I can say, because there's been situations where my wife just out of the blue say, you know what? I love you because you're a good leader and you always try to do what's right to the best of your ability. And I'm like, all right. I didn't say nothing. You know, I didn't act like it hit my heart, you know what I'm saying? Because I ain't that type of dude. But sure, I went to work the next day and I was walking on clouds. You know what I'm saying? And women don't know what that does when they get that encouragement for the woman. Because what? Dudes is getting beat down at work. I'm telling you, we getting beat down all through the society. They're trying to bind the strong man. The whole society, this emasculated society in this nation is trying to emasculate us. And when we got that woman in our corner encouraging us, it's powerful. And they know it. The COINTELPRO program, the welfare program in the 60s or 70s, the welfare worker would come around looking in the houses, making sure there was no man in there. They know that when that woman, the strongest woman of any nation, that black woman who's always been with us, they know when she gets behind that man and encourages him, it's a scary thing. They know big things happen. I'm telling you, that's why I focus on relationships, because once we get in order with relationships, the nation will come together on its own. But you see, the relationships are at the cause of a lot of us falling apart or building something up and then it falling back apart. Okay? So that's real talk. All right, somebody put in here, Shalom, brother, can you please address the husband's overall responsibilities, duties biblically? Biblically. So just to, because it's a lot, but just to put it simple, I'll put it like this, because I had the verse up. It says, husbands, love your wives, even, and this is Ephesians chapter 5, verse 25. It says, husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it. So if you want to know what a husband should look like, what a biblical husband should look like, how he should function, how he should behave and deal with stuff, you look at how Christ dealt with Israel, with the nation of Israel. Okay? And it wasn't all, love and cupcakes and flowers. Sometimes he would discipline them. Sometimes he'd turn his back to them when they were out of order. He was patient. He was long-suffering with them. He used wisdom. He would lead them in wise ways and all that. And that's a heavy model. And right there, that just screened out 99% of men. So if you gauge men according to that standard, that would eliminate all your past relationship issues you've had. You see what I'm saying? And if there's women out there who aren't in a relationship, use this model. It's going to screen out all these bad dudes that could have possibly ruined your life and everything. But if you're married, this is the standard that you got to encourage your husband to be at, not nag your husband to be. Because when you nag a man and on his back, you're adding to the load of emasculation pressure that this society puts on our men. When you're just like the society out there, beating him down, putting this load on him. But when you encourage him to attain to this role as the leader, the head, a righteous, wise leader, when you encourage him, then that's when the magic happens. That's when the blessings begin to happen. Okay? So where are you at? So your question, let me make sure I hit it all. Address husband's overall response. So, for me to address that would overall to go more in depth on what that is. That would be another video. Okay, but the main thing is our women have to learn to encourage him and learn where to encourage him at, and the men have to humble down and step up to the plate. Because I'm not. If you really begin to watch a lot of my videos, I'm not that hard on the women because I know the men got to step up. I don't care whether your woman encouraging you or not encouraging you, you got to stand firm on your own too and do what you got to do to get through. Okay? According to the Most High's word. Because look, the odds are against us, but we're designed to have the odds against us. We the most gifted, talented, blessed people in all time, the face of the earth. You know, you can see some of the amazing things our men and our women have done. So we're designed to overcome odds. You know, just look at the history of slavery and all that. So, as well as what it looks like practically. Thank you. So let me say this. This is real briefly. This is the model of Araya Isaac. This is a model I give on that. My little simple practical breakdown of what's outlined in the script that a man should do. He needs to deal with the woman and show her affection, direction, and correction. The affection is being sensitive enough to understand what's going on with the woman. By using wisdom, understand, well, what is she upset about? You know, am I not leading? Am I a pushover? Is she just not feeling good? You know, sensitive to what's going on, what she needs, stuff like that. The direction is wisdom, making wise decisions, financially, whatever it is. Okay, is that wisdom. And then the last one, correction, is being willing to stand up and not being scared to correct her when she's in error and using wisdom and doing that. Okay? So, that as well. Yes, it did. Okay, so, but yeah, let me check over here on, if y'all got any questions, that was a good question. If y'all got any questions, just put them in there. But as far as the sister who have reached out to me, you know, and look, I said, and encourage him. And that I already know that's the last thing that's in your spirit to do. But you got to pray and fast and seek the Lord for him to put the desire to do that in your spirit. Because what we all got to realize is we've been heavily brainwashed by this society. And if you think you haven't, then you thoroughly brainwashed. They done did a complete lobotomize your head. All right. So yeah, like I said, put questions in there if you want. But like I said, the key to it is, like I said, is for women, when a dude is not leading and he's immature, encourage him to be mature. I mean, there's no other thing to do because you don't see it. All these scriptures I done went through, you don't see where it thoroughly tells you that you are way off if you just constantly beating him down and trying to emasculate him and yell and talk down to him. Okay? And same thing with, you know, so I hit it there. Now, let me say this also. Just a point I need to make. As far as with counseling, like if y'all need counseling on a topic or situation, I don't have time because with some stuff that's getting ready to come up and y'all going to see it. I don't have time to really type and talk back and forth and do a whole bunch of counseling. But what you can do is send me a nice, thoroughly talked out message of what you got going on, and I'll do what I did today. I'll do a show on it. You know, I'm not going to call you out and like, yeah, this is so, and put your whole situation out there. So you're like, oh, she going through that. They will never know who I'm talking about. And then I will do a lesson on it. So everybody gets edified. So I have time, because my time is very valuable and limited. So what you could do, I talk to my wife. You could just, if you're a woman, so there's no misunderstandings, you could send it to my wife, and then she'll forward it to me. Or if there's any other information she needs, she'll get it from you or whatever. And I'll run that by my wife to make sure that works for her and everything. But we'll do the counseling that way, because like with the growth I'm experiencing now and all that, a lot of people be hitting me up, and I don't have time. I would spend my whole day doing that. You see what I'm saying? So, and I'm going to put it out there more that, that's how I'm going to do it. But, so T Horn said, great counseling too. This message is T Horn approved. Okay, I got your stamp on it. That's cool. That's cool. Appreciate that. But yeah, like I said, so like I said, so, you've seen a lot of scriptures were in Ecclesiasticus, because it further clarifies a lot of the stuff that's in the Word. There's a lot of good stuff in there. Like I said, I try to keep it balanced. And real fast, because I know there's something I didn't read, and I'm going to read it real quick. Let me pull it up. So, because, I didn't put enough scriptures in there. So, and this is the situation. I just want to put, I just want to put into better words the situation that, that was written to me is, it says, for one that is a woman, this is Ecclesiasticus 25, and this is to the men and to the women, so they understand, like, this stuff is very practical, okay? This ain't no, oh, Jesus, Holy Ghost, feeling, getting emotional stuff. A lot of what's in this word is very, very, very practical, even more practical than these marriage advice, Dr. Phil people out here. You can't beat it, because the Bible cuts through. It cuts through. The truth cuts through. It's a discerner of the thoughts and intents of people's heart. So look, this is the situation that you got going on. It's why it says a woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach. We know what anger is, but what's impudence? Because it's a relation. Y'all in a relationship, so this affects that. Okay, and what it can turn into, so the woman's mad because the man's not walking in his role, and the man's not walking in his role because the woman's mad. So the woman keeps nagging the man, and the man feel more and more beat down and don't want to walk in his role, and the woman gets more. It's a cycle, and a lot of times the man needs to break that cycle. But if the man ain't in the truth, again, so I'm just trying to sum it up. So look at this. Impudent. The quality of being impudent. So that, the quality. All right, hold on. I'm going to bring it up for you. Just bear with me. All right. So here's the definition of impudent. Not showing due respect for another person. So when the man's not walking in his role, the woman get disrespectful to him. And I read, it's not saying, oh, well, it's okay to do this, because it told the woman clearly, hey, be respectful to that man. But this is a trick of Satan. So reproach, okay? much reproach, it said, right? So let's look up the definition of that real quick. So we're going to hit, all right. It says, address someone in such a way as to express disapproval or disappointment. So she's full of much disappointment. And the Bible's telling you this is the cycle that it goes. When the man's not leading and being responsible and being immature, then the woman gonna get disrespectful and be real disappointed in all this. And I just told y'all in this lesson how to break the cycle. I showed you how the man needs to break the cycle. I showed you how the woman can break that cycle. Because both people need to grow. Okay? So yeah, so like I said, and let me tell y'all this too. Like, it ain't easy, but it's like it can be painful, but it's a good pain. It's like lifting weights. Like after you got a good workout in, and the next day, yeah, my muscles hurt, but it's a good hurt. It's not like this painful, I just got an operation type hurt or cut my knee. It's not like that type of hurt. But anyway, I hope this lesson was informative to y'all. We all got growing we need to do. Ain't nobody perfect, but we are obtaining perfection. We're seeking perfection. You know what I'm saying? According to the Most High's word. And, be comfortable with the uncomfortable. I don't mind battles and wars and all that because I'm a soldier, So, yeah. And my wife, she put in there leadership, protection, companionship. So, but with that said, I'm going to take it out with, my favorite song, my favorite 3 songs. Y'all know what they are.
If you come against the scriptures, man, we gon' rise up. If you come against our heritage, we gon' rise up. It don't matter, anybody get it, man, we gon' rise up, we rise up. If you come against the king, man, we gon' rise up. If you come against our Elohim, we gon' rise up. It don't matter, anybody get it, man, we gon' rise up, we rise up. Rise up and rise up.
Oh me, oh my. Atheist tweeting OMG. Life came to a standstill and then got real with the prophecies. Every time we done pass go, monopolize the monopoly. You give us 200, take 300, charge us for the property. Y'all gave us this authority. To be honest, got it honestly. Which means we are joint heirs. Siamese twins on a trampoline. We speak what he wrote. Melania's speech, Michelle's notes. Israel hit the ground running like a breech birth cause we got home. Hold up. Yeshua is the Messiah. It's his will over our will, so we call that student driver. He calls us his song. Sorry, Mariah. Postal carry these notes. Addressing all outsiders, we will rise up.
If you come against the scriptures, man, we gon' rise up. If you come against our heritage, we gon' rise up. It don't matter, anybody get it, man, we gon' rise up, we rise up. If you come against the king, man, we gon' rise up. If you come against our Elohim,